Hi everybody, this is Agnes from No Sediment, and today let's explore 5 great alternatives to Cabernet Sauvignon. Cabernet Sauvignon is probably one of the greatest red grape varieties in the world. It is responsible for rich and powerful wines with ripe black fruit, often a distinct black currant nose, marked acidity, and firm tannin structure. It is part of some of the most expensive and long-lasting wines from Bordeaux, Tuscany, Napa, and Margaret River in Australia. It also doesn't come as a surprise that some of the top Cabernet Sauvignon wines can be quite expensive, while few downright unattainable. So whether you are looking for more affordable options or just want to broaden your horizons, let's explore 5 great alternatives you should try if you enjoy Cabernet Sauvignon grape variety. This might not come as a surprise to more engaged wine consumers, as Carmenere originally is a Bordeaux grape variety and used to be more important grape there, often blended with Cabernet Sauvignon. However, nowadays its principal home is Chile, where it can produce quite herbaceous and simple wines, as well as premium examples of beautiful concentration and depth of fruit. Today, let's focus on those higher quality examples. I recently tasted an amazing wine in blind and I believed it was premium Cabernet Sauvignon. But it turned out to be Carmenere. Yes, it did show its distinct herbal element, but it was also filled with aromas of ripe figs, dark chocolate, and smoky layer of oak aging. Similarly to Cabernet Sauvignon, it offers rich and full-bodied wines, however, its tannin structure seems a bit larger while also tasting sweeter. Likewise, if you have ever found Cabernet Sauvignon acidity too high, Carmenere tends to have more balanced acidity, but it will very much depend on where it is grown. Look for the best examples in Colchagua or Maipo in Chile, where it is grown next to Cabernet Sauvignon. Though in blind tasting, I myself can often confuse Blaufrankisch with Syrah, I do think it has the qualities that Cabernet Sauvignon lover would also appreciate. It is usually made into medium to full-bodied, dry red wines of deep color and can have a ripe black fruit-driven nose with notes such as plums and blackberries. The acidity tends to be elevated and lively, while tannins are also usually towards a higher level, maybe not as firm as in the case of Cabernet Sauvignon though. Just like Cabernet Sauvignon, Blaufrankisch usually performs well in oak barrels, which for the best examples can add notes of toastiness and sweet spices while not overpowering the fruit. However, the finesse of the fruit is more valued nowadays. Blaufrankisch is also a great grape variety to age, and the best examples can easily stand the test of time. It is grape variety that is not widely grown, and it will be easier to find it in its historic land, Austria or Hungary. Bear in mind that in Hungary it will more often be labeled under the name Blaufrankisch. It is also found in Germany under the name Lemberger, and while I have tasted some exciting examples from Württemberg, I do think that Austria and Hungary will offer more concentration of fruit, fuller body, and firmer structure, which might be exactly what we are looking for in alternatives to Cabernet Sauvignon. Therefore, look for regions such as Leithaberg and Carnuntum in Austria and Sopron in Hungary. Yet another grape whose ancestry is bound to France that has found its forever home in the South America, Malbec. Just like my previously mentioned Carmenere, Malbec can also be made into simple, easy-drinking, everyday red wines as well as rich, concentrated and complex wines with an exciting nose and complex flavors. What I especially find intriguing about Malbec is that amongst all those rich and ripe, often blue fruit flavors, it manages to highlight some floral notes, such as violets and lilacs, elevating these wines, almost adding lightness to the fruit. Similarly to Cabernet Sauvignon, it does show high levels of tannin. They are mouth-coating and grainy, though not as firm or fine. Argentinian examples will differ greatly depending on the altitude they have been grown at, with wines from higher elevations showing more marked acidity, fresher fruit, and oftentimes deeper color. While Malbec from Cahors, France, will be more savory, meatier, and definitely not as plush. Both examples would offer great alternatives to those of us who enjoy the fruit of Cabernet Sauvignon while it is wrapped within firm tannin and full body. It is truly surprising how one grape variety can act so differently in two different winemaking regions, and indeed, Tinto Fino is more widely known under the name of Tempranillo, closely associated with Rioja. However, in Ribera del Duero, another Spanish winemaking region located just 2-hour drive away from Rioja, it tends to create wines with a much fuller body and higher fruit density. And while Tempranillo in both regions, Rioja and Ribera del Duero, is often aged in oak barrels, examples from Ribera will often show a more pronounced presence of new oak in the form of vanilla, sweet toast, and baking spices. The wines are powerful and have good enough structure to handle that oak though. Therefore, if you like fuller and riper styles of Cabernet Sauvignon, you might also find exciting Tinto Fino from Ribera del Duero. They do have the intensity, body, as well as fresh yet ripe and dark fruit profile as opposed to those of Rioja, which for me seem more red fruit driven. The tannins of Tinto Fino are elevated and firm. Acidity is juicy, adding an elevated character to otherwise rich fruit. Touriga Nacional is believed by many to be one of the noblest grape varieties of Douro or Portugal altogether. Naturally an important grape for port wines, it is also increasingly being made into dry red wines, and these are the ones I will be focusing on today. Because of its small and thick skin berries, the wines are usually deeply colored, highly concentrated, and with distinct tannin structure. However, it will not be your typical fruit bomb, as it also tends to develop a floral layer, adding notes such as lilac, violets, rosemary, and Earl Grey. It is grape capable of producing beautiful wines that can also age magnificently. Interestingly, I have been fooled by Touriga Nacional grape variety too many times in blind tastings, where I thought I was enjoying a much younger wine than the actual label said. You only hear those same stories about top Bordeaux wines. They always seem younger than they actually are. Therefore, if structure, quality in terms of aging potential, and finesse is what you enjoy in your Cabernet Sauvignon, why not choose Touriga Nacional next time? I am sure the best examples from Portugal will offer much better price point than the best examples from Bordeaux. So here you go, those are my top 5 go-to wines if you enjoy Cabernet Sauvignon. Let me know in the comments of any other grape variety that you find similar in style, structure, or quality to those wines of Cabernet Sauvignon. And why did I not mention Merlot? I thought it was way too obvious choice that most Cabernet lovers would have known anyway. Many of my previously mentioned grapes are closely associated with Bordeaux wine region, so make sure to watch this video next.